So students, first let us discuss that what is a pronoun. A pronoun is the sentence element that is always used to replace a noun. What is a pronoun? It is the element in the sentence that is used whenever we have to replace a noun. The replaced noun is named the antecedent. For example, if I say Ali is a good boy. Now, what is a noun in the sentence? I'm sure that all of you know that Ali is the noun. So, if I replace Ali with he is a good boy. Now, what is the pronoun over here? He. Why? Because he is the sentence element that we have used to replace the noun Ali. Instead of using Ali, I have used the word he. So he is the pronoun. So a pronoun is the element of the sentence that is always used to replace a noun or a noun equivalent construction. The replaced noun is named the antecedent. The name or the noun that we have replaced is known as the antecedent. And the word we have used in place of the noun is known as a pronoun. Now I'm sure that all of you know that what is a pronoun. Now let us discuss the categories of the pronouns. So the categories of pronouns are personal pronouns, possessive pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, reflexive pronouns, interrogative pronouns, and relative pronouns. Now these are the categories in which the pronouns are further classified. In today's lecture, I want all of you to be very attentive and stay with me till the end, because today we are discussing the very important topic. Now we will discuss all these categories of pronouns according to their examples one by one. So what are the categories? Personal, possessive, demonstrative, reflexive, interrogative, and relative pronouns. Now let us discuss all the categories of pronouns one by one in detail. First is the personal pronoun. Now what are personal pronouns? They represent specific people or things. What does personal pronoun represents? Specific people or things. Now how do we use them? Depending on the number. If we are talking about singular things or single person, we use the pronoun I. We are talking about plural. Plural means more than one. We use the pronoun we. If we are talking about persons, the first person, the pronoun I is used. If you are talking about any other person, the second person, then we use the pronouns you. And if we are talking about the third person, then we use the pronoun he. Then, if we are talking about gender, male, we use he, female, we use the pronoun she, and we are talking about neuter genders, we use it. Case. Now, whether we are talking about subject in a sentence or object in a sentence. If we are talking about subject, we will use the pronouns we. And if we are talking about the object in a sentence, then we will use the pronoun us. So we use personal pronouns in place of the person or people that we are talking about. We replace the noun and we use a pronoun in place of the noun. How do we use them? Depending on the numbers, the persons, the gender, or the case. And what is the case? That whether we are talking about the subject in a sentence or the object in a sentence. Now a detailed table has appeared on your screen. These are the examples or a very detailed table in which it is shown that how the personal pronouns are used. Now look, in the first block it is written number. Now, what is number? Number means whether you are talking about singular things or plural things. Clear? Now, if we are talking about singular, means one thing, and the person is first with the gender male or female both. For the first person, whether he is a male or a female, we use the personal pronouns I if the case is subject. But if the case is object, for the first person, we will use me, whether it is male or female. Then comes the second person. If the gender is male or female, we will use you in case of subject, and in case of object also we use the pronoun you. If we are talking about the person who is not here, means the third person. Now, if the third person is a male, we use he in case of subject, him in case of object. You are talking to him. Now, you is the second person, him is the third person. You is the subject, him is the object. So, in case of third person, if it's a male, in case of subject, we will use he, and in case of object, we will use him. Now, in case of third person, if the gender is female, we will use she for subject, her for object. And if we are talking about the third person and the gender is neuter, in case of subject and object both, we will use it. I will discuss all these with proper examples. Then you will have a more better view of what we are talking about and how these pronouns will be used. Now move on to the plural number, means more than one. If the person is first and the gender is either male or female, we use we in case of subject, us in case of object. Where? When the number is plural. Very good. Now, if we are talking about the second person, plural, means the persons are more than one. The gender is either male or female. In case of subject, we use you, and in case of object also, we use the personal pronoun you. Now, the number is plural and the person is third. The gender is either male, female, or neuter. In case of subject, we use they. In case of object, we use them. Now go through this table again and again, because this is a very informative table in which it's particularly mentioned that how we use the personal pronouns according to the number, to the person, to the gender, and the case. Now let us discuss a few examples in which we have discussed the subject pronouns and the object pronouns separately. Now see, what is the first sentence? I like coffee. Now I am talking about a single person, means the number is singular. I is representing the subject. I like coffee. So I have used I. John helped me. Now me is the object over here. So what I have used? Which personal pronoun? Me. Do you like coffee? Now I am talking about the second person. So I have used the personal pronoun you. She is clever. Now means I am talking about the third person. So she is clever. I am talking about someone else. So this is the third person and singular. So I have used which personal pronoun? She. Does Mary know her? Means that I am talking about the third person, but here the case is not the subject, it's object over here. So which personal pronoun I have used? Her. In case of the third person, the subject, I have used she. But in case if the third person is object, I have used the personal pronoun her. Very good. Now move on to plural persons. We went home. First person, but number is plural. So I have used the personal pronoun we. in case of subject. But if I talk about objects, number is plural. Anthony drove us. I am talking about first person. The case is object. I have used personal pronoun us. It doesn't work. Now I am talking about neuter. So I have used which personal pronoun? It. Either the case is subject or the object, it will be used. Here it is used as a subject. In the next sentence, can the engineer repair it? Now here it is used as an object. Do you need a table for three? Now I am talking about the second person. So I have used the personal pronoun you. Did John and Mary beat you at doubles? Here also I am asking the second person. So I have used the personal pronoun you for the second person. They played doubles. Now they play doubles. They is the third person, but the case is plural. Means more than one person. That is why I have used they. And the case is what? Subject or object? The case is subject. Very good. So I have used the personal pronoun they. John and Mary beat them. Now here also the number is plural. We are talking about the third persons, but the case is object. So that is why the personal pronoun them is used. I'm sure that with the help of these sentences, the previous table is pretty much clear to you that how we are using the personal pronouns. Now let us see that where we often use the word or the pronoun it. Now use it to introduce a remark. What is a remark? It is nice to have a holiday sometimes. Now I am giving my remarks about the holidays. That it is nice to have a holiday sometimes. This is a remark. I am giving my remark about holidays. It is important to dress well. I am giving my remark on the dressing. That it is important to dress well. In this case, the dress is used whenever you have to tell us a remark. We also often use it to talk about the weather, temperature, time, and distance. It is raining. So, raining, I am telling you about the weather, that it is raining outside. So, I have used the pronoun it. It will probably be hot tomorrow. So, again, I am telling you about the weather. So, I have used the pronoun it. Is it 9 o'clock yet? Is it 5 o'clock yet? I am talking about the time. I have used the pronoun it. It's 50 kilometers from here to Cambridge. Now I am talking about the distance. So where it is used, in which in the sentences we have to introduce or give any remark, or when we have to talk about the weather, the temperature, time, and the distance. In these cases mostly we use the pronoun it. Now we will discuss about the second category of pronouns, and that is possessive pronouns. Now what is possessive? Have you ever heard the possession? Possession means to belonging of something. So what are possessive pronouns? In which we have to refer to a specific person or people or thing or things. Belonging to a person, people, and sometimes belonging to an animal, more than one, or thing, or more than one things. So possessive pronouns show us the belongings or the possessions of the particular person, people, thing, or animals. You will never find a possessive pronoun near a noun, despite the fact it is the genitive of personal pronoun. For example, we use possessive pronouns always depending on the number. Singular, mine. This book is mine. Mine, I am only one. Clear? So the book or the word is mine. So I am telling you about my possession. So I have used the pronoun mine. So what is mine? Mine is a possessive pronoun used for singular. Or for in case of plural, we use the possessive pronoun ours. This table is ours. Clear? This house is ours means that this house belongs to more than one people, and it's showing the possession of plural number of persons. So for that we will be using ours. For persons, for first person, if I am talking about myself, I will be using the personal pronoun or possessive pronoun mine. Then if I'm talking about the second pronoun or the second person, I will use the possessive pronoun yours. And if I am talking about the third person, then I will use the possessive pronoun his. In case of gender, male, we use the possessive pronoun his, and in case of female pronoun, we use hers. So what are possessive pronouns? These are the pronouns that refer or show us the belongings to a person or people, and sometimes to an animal or more than one animals, or a thing or things. Now let us discuss them with examples so you can have a more better idea of what are possessive pronouns. Now check the table that has appeared on your screen. What is this? In the table, again we will be discussing that how possessive pronouns are used according to the number, the person we are talking about, the gender, and the subject or object, means the case. Now first comes the number. What will happen if we are talking about single persons? If it's first person and it's single, then male or female, in both case we will use mine. Then comes the second person, gender will be male or female. Yours is the possessive pronouns that is always used. This book is mine, first person. This book is yours, second person. Now I am telling us or telling you the possessiveness or the belonging of the book. Clear everyone? Very good. Now if we are talking about the third person and it is singular, whether the gender, if the gender is male, we use his. This book is his. If I am talking about female, this book is hers. I am telling you the belonging of the book, but third person. Clear everyone? So in this case, in case of singular, first person, whether it is male or female, we use mine. In case of second person, both for male and female, we use the possessive pronouns yours. But in case of third person, for male, we use his, and for female, we use hers. This was for singular. Now move on to the plural. If person or any that we are talking about is more than one, what will happen? For first person, either male or female, we use ours. This house is ours. Then I am talking about second person, either it is male or female, I will use the possessive pronouns yours. This house is yours. I am telling you the belonging of the house. Then comes the third person. Either the gender is male, female, or neuter, we will use the possessive pronouns theirs. This house is theirs. So this is the way in which possessive pronouns are used. Now here comes the examples of the possessive pronouns. If I say, look at these pictures, mine is the big one. Now I am talking about the pictures. The subject here is the picture. I am telling you to look at all these pictures and the big one is mine. So I am telling you the possessiveness or the belongings, that the big picture belongs to me. So what is the possessive pronoun I have used? Mine. Why? Because I am talking about the first person and that is me. I like your flowers. Do you like mine? Now I am talking about my flowers. So I have used the possessive pronoun mine in this case, that I like your flowers. Do you like mine? So object is here my flowers. In both subjects and objects, in both the cases, I have used the possessive pronoun mine. All the essays were good, but his was the best. Now we are talking about the essays. And I am talking about the third person. So what is the possessive pronoun here? His. Why? Because I am talking about the third person. that all the essays were good, but his was the best. The subject here is his essay. John found his passport, but Mary couldn't find hers. Clear? So here we are talking about the passport, and we are talking about Mary means gender is the female. That is why we have used the possessive pronoun hers over here. Now let us check that if possessive pronouns are used before nouns, how they are used, and if they are used alone, then how they are used. If the possessive pronouns are used before the nouns, in case of singular, we use my, your, his, her, its. And then in case of plural nouns, we use the possessive pronouns are, your, and their. If the possessive pronouns are used alone, means they are not used with the nouns. If they are used alone in the sentence, in case of singular, we use the possessive pronoun mine, yours, his, hers, its. But in case of plural, we use the possessive pronouns ours, yours, and theirs. So you will keep in mind these possessive pronouns, that if they are used before the nouns, how they are used, and if they are used alone in a sentence, how they are used. Plus, you will also keep in mind that whether you're talking about singular things or plural things. The next type of pronouns we will discuss are the reflexive pronouns. Now, what is a reflexive pronoun? It is used with an active voice verb in order to reflect the action of the verb back on the subject. We use a reflexive pronoun when we want to refer back to the subject of the sentence or clause. Now, an easy thing that reflexive pronouns end in self in case of singular, or selves if you are talking about plural things. Now, there are 8 reflexive pronouns. In singular, there are myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself. Myself if you are talking about first person, yourself if you are talking about second person, and if you are talking about the third person, then you will use the reflexive pronoun himself, herself, itself in case of singular. But when we are talking about plural, then we use the reflexive pronoun ourselves for first person, yourselves for second person, and themselves for third persons. So what is a reflexive pronoun? If we want to refer back to the subject, if we are talking about the subject in a sentence and we want to refer to the subject later on, in that case we use the reflexive pronouns. And how does it end? It ends in self in case of singular and selves in case of plural. Now check the following sentences for a better understanding that how can we refer back to the subject in case of sentence. Now the underlined words are the same person or thing, means we are talking about the subject again in the sentence, and that talking again of about the subject in a sentence, for that we use the reflexive pronouns. Now, I saw myself in the mirror. Now, if for myself, I am talking about myself again in the subject. I is the subject over here. And if I am talking about myself again in the sentence or about the subject again in the sentence, I have used the reflexive pronoun. And what is that? Myself. Why do you blame yourself? Now, second person, you is second person. So I am referring again to the second person in the same sentence. So I have used the reflexive pronoun yourself. John sent himself a copy. Now I am talking about the third person, any other person, and I want to refer to that particular third person again in my sentence. So I have used the reflexive pronoun himself in the sentence. So myself is what? It's a reflexive pronoun for the first person. Yourself is the reflexive pronoun for the second person. And himself is the reflexive pronoun for the third person. The next type of pronoun is the demonstrative pronouns. Now, what is demonstrative? It means to demonstrate something. So, these are demonstrative pronouns and demonstrative adjectives. Both have exactly the same forms. The way to differentiate them depends on their position related to the antecedent or the determined nouns. For example, what are the demonstrative pronouns? This, these. You are demonstrating something, you are telling about something. This is a big house. Now, this, I am telling about you the house. So, I am demonstrating you about the house. So, this is demonstrating something. These, in case of plural, that, those. If you are talking about the second person, that building is huge. Those buildings are big. So, in that case, if we are demonstrating about something, demonstrative pronouns are used. The former is also used, the later. The former president of the country, the later president of the country. I am demonstrating about something. I have used these pronouns. The first chapter, the last chapter. Clear? The other in case of singular, the others in case of plural. Same, such, so. All these words which are demonstrating about the nouns and we replace them with words, then we know they are known as demonstrative pronouns. Now let us discuss the table that has appeared on your screen so that demonstrative pronouns are more clearly described to you. So what is demonstrative pronoun? It represents a thing or things. It demonstrates us about a thing or more than one thing. Near in distance or time. If something is near to you in distance or in time, then we use this for singular, these for plural. But if something is far in distance or far in time from you, then we use that for singular, those for plural. Clear, everyone? For singular, near we use this. For singular, far we use that. For plural near things, we use these. And for plural far things, we use those. For example, this tastes good. Now, there is something that is near me and I can eat it. So, if that is near me, it means I will use the demonstrative pronoun this for it. These are bad times. Now, I am talking about time, times. It is plural. So, I have used what? These. That is beautiful. Now, that is something which is far away from me and it is singular. I have used the demonstrative pronoun that. Those were the days. I am talking about the days that were far away from me, that have passed. That is why I am talking about plural days, more than one days, and that are far away from me. So, what is the demonstrative pronoun I have used? Those. Very good. So, this and these is used for singular and plural when the things are near to you. And when you have to demonstrate something that is far from you, then we use that and those. Now, I want you all to pay attention that the word that has four main functions. Clear? Demonstrative pronoun or adjective. Now, where we can use the word that in four cases. First is demonstrative pronoun. That book is good. Now, I am demonstrating or referring to a book. Okay, that is not far, near than me. So, I have used the word that. Relative pronoun. Anything that you remember could help a lot. I am relating you to a memory. Clear? So, relative pronoun is what do we use? We use the word that. If I want you to relate to something, I use that. That is also used as a conjunction. What are conjunctions? That join the two sentences. So he said that he had been there before. Now here that is used as a conjunction. That could also be used as an adverb. The snow was that high. Now I am telling you about the snow that was high. So here that is used as an adverb. So the word that has four main functions. First, it could be used as a demonstrative pronoun, relative pronoun, as a conjunction, or as an adverb. Now I want you to not to confuse demonstrative pronouns with demonstrative adjectives. They both are identical, but a demonstrative pronoun stands alone, while a demonstrative adjective it tells us about the quality of a noun. So don't confuse both these words. Now that smells. Now this is a demonstrative pronoun. It is not telling us the quality of a noun. It is demonstrating something that smells. So here that is used as a demonstrative pronoun. If I say that book is good. Now here we have used that as a demonstrative adjective along with the noun. Demonstrative pronoun stands alone, whereas the demonstrative adjective it stands along with the noun. Normally, we use demonstrative pronouns for things only, but we can use them for people when the person is identified. For example, if I say, "This is Joseph speaking, is that Mary?" Now, if you are talking on the phone and you want to ask or identify the other person who is talking to you, so you can use that. If you say, "This is Joseph speaking, is that Mary?" it means you want a confirmation that whether the next person you are talking to is Mary or someone else. In this case, we can use them with persons, but normally we use demonstrative pronouns for things only. If I say, "That sounds like John," now you want to identify that whether the person who is talking is John. In that case, in which you are identifying the person, we use the demonstrative pronouns for people. But normally we only use this, these, that, and those for things. The next type of pronoun we will be discussing today are interrogative pronouns. Now, what are interrogative pronouns? What is interrogate or interrogation? It means to ask questions. So, the interrogative pronoun represents the things that we don't know, means what we are asking the question about. Now, there are four main interrogative pronouns: who, whom, what, which. Now, these are the pronouns we always use to ask questions. For example, if we are talking about the person, in case of subject we use who. Who is that boy? Now who is the subject over here and I am asking a question, so I have used the interrogative pronoun who. But if the case is object, we use the interrogative pronoun whom. This book belongs to whom? Now I am asking you a question that whose book is this? So I have used the pronoun, interrogative pronoun whom. This book belongs to whom. I have asked a question. In case of subject, we use who. In case of object, we use whom. If we talk about things, in both the cases, whether it is subject or object, we use the interrogative pronoun what. And if person or thing, sometimes which is always used in both the cases, subject and object. And if we are talking about the person, we use whose. Whose is used for possessiveness. Whose book is this? Whose shoes are these? So we are talking about the possessiveness, the belongingness, then we are using the interrogative pronoun whose. So the possessive pronouns whose can also be an interrogative pronoun. Only the possessive pronoun whose. Whose tells us about the belonging, but if we are asking about a question that Whose things are these? Whose shoes are these? Whose socks are these? I am asking the belongings, but I am interrogating you. It means the possessive pronoun whose here is used as an interrogative pronoun. So, what are interrogative pronouns? Whenever we have to ask questions, we use interrogative pronouns. And what are the four main interrogative pronouns? Who, whom, what, which. Let us discuss the interrogative pronouns with examples for better understanding. Now, if I ask a question, who told you? Now, answer is John told me. Now, see, I have used here as a subject. In case of subject, we use which interrogative pronoun? Who. Whom did you tell? Here I am asking about the object. So, I have used which interrogative pronoun? Whom. The answer could be I told Mary. So here I am talking about Mary. Mary is the object in the sentence. So for Mary I have used the interrogative pronoun whom. What's happened? An accident has happened. So here also we are talking about the subject. In this case, for think we have used what. So these are the few ways in which the interrogative pronouns are used whenever you are asking questions in the sentences. The next type of pronouns are the relative pronouns. A relative pronoun is a pronoun that introduces a relative clause, means you are relating something. It is called a relative pronoun because it relates to the word, that it changes or modifies. So it tells us about the relation. Now there are 5 relative pronouns: who, whom, whose, which, that. Who is used for subject and whom is used for object. We are asking about the relation. These are generally only for people. So who and whom are only used for people. Whose is for possession. Which is for things. We never use which for people. We use who and whom generally only for people. Which is for things. And that is the relative pronoun that can be used for people and things and both subject and object as per the sentence requirements. So relative pronouns can refer to singular or plural with no difference between male and female. If we are using who, we don't know about the gender, but we will use who, whom, whose, which, that for both the genders. But we will use them according to the numbers. For example, they can be singular or plural, but there is no difference between male and female whenever you are using the relative pronouns. Now, I will discuss a few examples with you of relative pronouns. Now, if I say the person who phoned me last night is my teacher. Now, who I am relating my telephone call with the person. And who is that person? My teacher. So, a relation is being shown. So, what is this? I have used the personal pronoun or relative pronoun here, and that is who. Who is used for persons. The car which hit me was yellow. I will never say the car who hit me was yellow. It would be wrong. For things we use the relative pronoun which. So the car which hit me was yellow. Now I am relating the color yellow with the car. So here I have used the relative pronoun which. Can you see that in each sentence a relationship is being shown? The person whom I phoned last night is my teacher. The car whose driver jumped out just before the accident was completely destroyed. Now, in this case, there is no difference between the gender. Clear, everyone? In this way, we use the relative pronouns whenever we have to show the relation.
Kind